What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have husband, father, program lead, and head basketball coach at Windward, and the UAA West Coast Elite Director as well, Mr. DJ Gay.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming up the hill. Sorry about the accident. I had no control of that traffic coming up.
Yeah, I'm here now.
Absolutely. We love to start this show with the wall of hoop movies. Your favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
As I look at it, there's two that really come to mind. First is Coach Carter. You know, my transition from player to coach. Mm-hmm. What that movie means, the change, the style, do things that make people uncomfortable to get a positive result. That's my number one, especially where I'm at in life. And then Space Jam just pops out. Yeah. Right. My son is hooked on Space Jam right now. Plays the intro 10 times before we get to the movie. Practices his dunks just like Jordan. Oh man. So those two are the ones that pop out the most.
No, he's not watching Space Jam 2.
No, we have not. We're not ready yet.
We're not ready.
It's still a classic Michael Jordan.
No, 100%. And I think they did a good job with Space Jam 2, like making it two separate movies. Yeah. And LeBron having his own, but like you said, ain't nothing like Mike.
Absolutely.
And seeing his personality, I think we really got to see his personality in that movie where he's a killer on the court and kind of quiet, it feels like. Yeah. And even in like the documentaries and stuff he does, he seems like just one way, but in Space Jam, you kind of see the other side.
Absolutely, 100%. 100%.
Definitely. One of the best movie soundtracks of all time. No, I'm saying Space Jam is.
Oh, Space Jam. I thought you were asking me.
No.
Hey, that changes.
Oh, no. Well, see, that's the thing. You know what? Let's talk about that. Because movie soundtracks for basketball movies, Above the Rim was dope.
That's what I was going to say.
Pop was on it.
Yeah, Above the Rim.
Who else had a good one? Blue Chips was actually good. Yeah. Sunset Park, He Got Game. Loving Basketball.
He Got Game is definitely up there.
Yeah.
For sure.
More Than a Game had probably the best song, not the whole soundtrack, but Forever.
Yeah. Quick question for you, though.
Yeah.
Quick question. Now that I see it, I have this debate all the time. Love and Basketball. Mm-hmm. Is it a classic?
100%. Hands down. There are 3 movies, when we've had 50 people on the show at this point, 3 movies that they choose as their favorite hoop movie of all time. And that goes from He Got Game to Above the Rim and Love and Basketball. Coach Carter, actually. I want to say 4.
Yes.
100%.
Love and Basketball, it's a classic. You heard it first here.
Yes. Who says it's not?
So the argument is that it's not a good basketball movie. That it's not a good basketball movie. But here's my take on it. It's a love story that involves basketball.
Yes.
Which makes it its own lane.
If it was called Basketball and Love, it's called Love and Basketball, man.
You get it. Thank you.
And the movie was segmented by the quarters. Who is this person that you're talking to? No.
Love it.
Oh, man. So that leads to the next question. When did you fall in love with basketball?
I was probably about 4 or 5 years old and going to go watch my dad playing his men's leagues and just wanted to be like Pops. So that's when I started to get my itch. Awesome. 4 or 5 years old.
4 or 5, okay. And then when you played in youth leagues, like when did it start getting a little more serious for you?
Rec ball. I started at Branford Park in the Valley. That was my start. Trying to get that banner up on the wall in your local recs with your name on it.
Do you have any banners at Branford?
No, never got one.
Oh, that's crazy.
Never lost in the semis and championship, but never got one.
Okay.
Never got one, but that's where I got my initial drive, I guess you can say.
And then did your dad teach you to, was your dad your trainer growing up, or how did your development happen during those youth years?
When I grew up, the trainers weren't really a thing.
Right.
But what I would say is, so, with the rec leagues, at the end of the season, whoever wins the championship gets to coach the all-star team. Mm-hmm. So my team, my first year, we won the championship, and my dad was the all-star coach. at the end, when you have your banquet, the coach goes up on stage and he announces the team. So he gets up there and he says, the first 9 guys, and there's 1 spot left. And here I am, 7, 8 years old, thinking my name is about to be called. And my name is not called.
Ooh. My
name is not called. And of course, I'm embarrassed. People are looking at me and, it's my first year. And, on the ride home, my dad can see that I'm, kind of emotional. And he just goes, "You're not good enough. You're not ready yet." And that was a moment where work ethic, drive, hunger, everything was where it was born. So I was at every single practice. They're practicing on one end. I'm shooting, working out on the other end. I'm at home in the backyard till the sun goes down. That's where I became a gym rat.
Man.
I would never not make another team again.
That's either brilliant parenting or abuse. That is the borderline of it, man.
Yeah.
Because he created something in you that drove you to take you where you are today, but also to do that to a 7 or 8 year old sounds a little crazy.
Yeah.
But it seemed like you and your dad had a good relationship. Besides that basketball moment, as far as, like you said, you wanted to be like him, right? Usually when we want to be like our dad, they're doing a good job. And so, man, did you understand the impact that it had on you at the time? Like,
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I thought I was a top 10 player in the league, and I remember I probably averaged 3 points a game. So I thought I was better than what I was. And, to this day, I don't know if he did it intentionally or if he did it because he didn't want people looking at him like, oh, you're just showing favoritism. Mm-hmm. And, both are the correct answer.
Yeah.
So, but a couple years after that, I was like, oh, I got it. I understand.
Sorry, little Toddy. I got a son named Todd. You ain't making the team, man. Hey, you got a career, this man. It is what it is.
Right.
Oh man, that's tough.
Yeah.
That is. I've never heard anything like that specifically. There's been people definitely where parents just encourage them to play through stuff, but to create that spark in you, that they created a competitive edge immediately.
Oh, absolutely.
And so things got turned around after that.
For sure.
Awesome. And so it got serious. You went to rec league. When did you notice that basketball was outside the community, when it was a bigger sport?
I think I was about maybe 6th grade,
Yeah.
7th grade. There was some local programs called the Rough Riders, ran by Coach White, and the Jags, who Coach Charles White, who's now at Pierce College.
Yep.
So those two are like my first initiation to basketball. Is bigger than the rec, bigger than All-Star.
Yeah.
So just that experience alone, right? You go from the rec thinking, you're a big fish in a small pond, and all of a sudden you see there's a whole nother level, and I'm no longer, top 5 best player on the team and having to work my way back up. So that was the age where I realized there's another level.
Yeah.
It's another level.
And what gave you, I don't want to say the knowledge, right? So kids, we have trainers today, right?
Right.
And it's easy to have somebody tell you what you're supposed to be doing on the court to improve. What was your guidance at the time from moving from that rec league to, AAU basketball? And what was that person or thing that was guiding you on what to work on, what to improve on?
Honestly, there was no guidance.
Mm-hmm.
My dad grew up as a runner. So he ran cross country. My mom was not into sports. My dad just played in the men's league, and that's all that I knew of it. But one thing that I do credit my dad for is I never played my age group. So I was 7 playing in a 9 and 10-year-old. Once I turned 9, I was playing 12 and 13s. And my best friends were always older than me because of the league that we played in. So there wasn't anyone who's like, okay, this is how you do a crossover. This is how you use your pull up. This is how you use your 3. I was the kid that was built off of 2-3 straight hours of playing 21.
Yes.
You know, and everybody I was playing against was 4 or 5 years older than me. So you had to figure out quickly how to get to the basket, how to get your shot off against somebody bigger, quicker, stronger. So I wasn't the kid that was just repping things out against a cone or a chair. It was 2-3 straight hours of 21, and then 3-on-3, then 4-on-4, then 5-on-5. Just hooping.
Yeah, I love it. Now I think this is I'm part of the problem when we talk about this is that kids who reclass, right? Mm-hmm. And they're just a little bit older for their grade in middle school. But what I always tell them is don't play your grade. If you're going to reclass, go play up a level. When I know during the season it's tough because kids are, in high school season, they can't play high school at that level, but in the fall and the spring, go play up, go play 15, 16U and get beat up while you're at the younger age, playing up. If we look at LaMelo Ball and his just development over time. Like, yeah, he was a little dude on the court playing 17-year-olds when he was 10.
Yeah.
But look at him now.
Exactly.
The game is so easy for him, and he knows how to get any shot off.
Right.
And that's what you did. Like, you were playing up, so you rose to the level in which you had to.
Had to. And I think that's something that is definitely lost, and has changed with the the addition of 15s, 16s, and 17s, because growing up it was only 17s.
Yeah.
There was no, you still had your bronze and silvers, but you were either good enough or you weren't. So, yeah, for sure.
It's crazy how fast that changed, because you graduated in 2007 from high school. Like, it wasn't that long ago. No. And the whole landscape changed like 2000, I'm going to say 11, 12 in there, where, the dynamic changed where people were trying to get an advantage from being older and playing in these spaces, I guess. It's super interesting, and it's worked out for some.
Yep.
It's worked out for some, but also I think there's something to the playing up. Absolutely. And getting your butt beat a little bit while you're young, so you're prepared for that next level. And
Absolutely, for sure.
And so playing those AAU teams, you play ARC, kind of local stuff, or did you go to tournaments, travel? What do you remember about those, middle school AAU years?
Yeah, it was definitely travel. The Vegas trips, the going down to the IE, still, what it was called, the American Sports Center, it was now OGP. So I grew up, playing in all those local events against some of the, great ARC teams and things like that. But again, I'm in a space where I'm just seeing hoopers from different areas.
Yeah.
Right. And there's no social media or anything. It's like, oh, that kid is good. Like, and you hear about it, but it was kind of like my first take to get out there and really see where I measured up and just to stay driven, because it probably wasn't until my 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, before I became one of the best players on the team, because I was still always playing up. So I never had the DJ, you're so good. Oh, like, you're one of the best in the city. That was never a conversation for me, because I was always playing with older kids who were, better at that time. So once I got closer to 7th and 8th grade and I started playing against kids my own age, I'm like, oh, this is different. This feels a lot easier.
I can actually get past this person.
Right. I don't have to use my floater as much, Yeah. So that was kind of my build up to, high school.
And you always kind of been a pure point guard?
No. I was just a scorer.
Bucket.
Just a scorer. And playing a point guard was something that I could always do. Didn't really understand in that moment that I was really being a point guard, because once again, I didn't have someone to say, like, this is what a point guard looks like. This is what you should be looking for. These are the reads you have to. That wasn't until I would probably say junior or senior year of high school where I really embraced or understood what a point guard even meant.
Yeah, it was all about getting buckets then.
All about getting buckets.
Any games that you remember during those middle school years that really stand out? Like, man, I remember playing this person, or
it wasn't a person, not in middle school. It wasn't a person, but my 8th grade, my 8th grade spring or summer, as I'm getting ready to go to high school. I was with the Jags, and I went and I played, I believe it was a 17U event, and in Vegas. And as a 14-year-old, I think I had like 28 points or something. I had like 28 points against a team. And I come back home, and it was my first article in the newspaper. It was my first time seeing my picture in the newspaper, my first write-up. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, that was kind of like my first, I remember the game, you know, don't know who was on it. But I was 14 years old going up against 16, 17-year-olds and
giving them 28.
Giving them 28. That was crazy. That was like my first, like, oh, wow, yeah, this is cool.
You got it. That's awesome. So your coaches at the time, how did they kind of help mold and kind of let you rock out? How tall were you at this time?
What grade?
In 8th grade. Say 8th grade when you're, you know.
I'm probably 5'8".
5'8", okay.
Probably 5'7", 5'8".
Okay. Okay, so you're kind of tall as an 8th grader. That's like an average height, actually, for 8th grade. I was only like 5'1", 5'2". Oh, no. Coming in the 8th grade to 9th grade, I was 5'3". Wow. Yeah, and then I started sprouting up in high school. But that's, and so you're that height, and what, I mean, I guess you just proved it to them, but why do you think they let you rock out? Or what did you take from them as coaches at that time to have the confidence you did to do you?
So my dad coached me from 7 years old to maybe 11, 12. And it was him and always another coach, Coach Anthony. They were together. So that was all that I knew. And then once I got to, you know, the local club teams, sorry, excuse me. It wasn't necessarily the teachings. It was the environment. There was kids in the gym who looked like me, who were from different areas of town. The coaches had no issue cursing you out when you made a mistake. Like I make my mistake first time in practice, and you know, coaches dropping F-bombs and what are you doing? And then nobody's ever done that to me. So I think, you know, these coaches gave me tough skin. Yeah. Right. And that was something that I haven't developed outside of my dad keeping me off a team and telling me I wasn't good enough, you know? So I think it was a competition. It was the kids who were supposed to, you know, the best in the valley. Mm-hmm. It was, it was just me being in that environment, and it was sink or swim. Like, you're not good enough. Okay, we have this kid coming to practice today. Like, okay, now we got this kid coming to practice today. Like, it was that kind of environment that helped me grow outside of my comfort zone.
Now you said it's sink or swim. What built the mental toughness to keep you swimming at that time? Was there something your parents instilled into you, like about, you know, staying with it? Because there's a lot of kids who fold under that environment nowadays. So,
I honestly, it wasn't. I mean, I honestly believe it was my first year of my dad telling me I'm not good enough. It's like if I can get past my dad telling me I'm not good enough to make a team, there's no way that some stranger is going to be able to come and tell me to my face that I'm not good enough. And like, when I tell you, I was an 8-year-old, 9-year-old. When I tell you, like, I was outside, you know, in the summers, I was working 6-7 hours a day. You know, I'd come home, do my homework, and then I'm drilling, I'm shooting around, I'm going to the park 3-4 hours. So by the time that I got to, you know, this competitive environment, I already knew that I put the work in, you know, yep. and I was skilled enough and crafty enough, and I wasn't the most athletic, tallest, or biggest, but I had already developed that confidence within myself where I don't care who you are. I don't know what your name is, you know?
Yes. No, I love that because it speaks to the truth of if you put the work in,
right,
that's what it's about at the end of the day. No coach can't not like you enough. You know, no excuse in the world can come against you and your work ethic and putting that work in and having confidence that you're good enough and better than the next man.
Absolutely. And I think that is one thing as a coach, when you get people on the outside who say you're messing with the kid's confidence, right? This kid lacks confidence. That word is thrown around so much, and gotten to the point where I just, confidence is lack of preparation. Right? I'm not taking away your kid's confidence from the 3-point line. He hasn't done the work to even feel confident in himself shooting that ball. So just being able to help give a different perspective on the word confidence. It's not a coach. It's not that starts, inside.
Yes, no, man. The amount of times I've heard that in the last 2 weeks even speaks volumes. I love that perspective, that confidence is about preparation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stealing that, just so you know. You will see that on a core t-shirt somewhere near you, because that is, that I think that's so, that's it. Like, I've never had it verbalized like that, because they're like, oh, the coach stole my confidence. I struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
The coach took my confidence away when I was in junior college. Mm-hmm. I wasn't good enough. Mm-hmm. I didn't understand the game. I put the work in. I was actually working hard, but I didn't understand. I wasn't doing the film sessions.
Right.
I wasn't in the weight room like I was supposed to.
Right.
There was other parts of the game that I didn't have confidence in.
Right.
And he saw that.
Yep.
And as a coach and somebody if you're coaching your player, your parents should trust that.
Absolutely.
And so they see something because they're an expert in this. Mm-hmm. So listen to that coach and get your son some confidence by just putting the work in.
That's right.
Which means 5-6 hours a day during the summer.
Right.
That's what that means.
Right.
2 or 3 hours a day during school, during school time.
To your point, it's not just being outside. Like that's not it. There's so much more into it. Are you working on your body? Are you doing the film? Are you studying the game? Right. I shot 1,000 threes yesterday. Coach, what do you mean I'm not putting the work in? Right. You had to do it at game speed. Right. Did you do it with the same footwork every single time? Mm-hmm. Were you holding your follow through? Were you just shooting fadeaways? Like what did those 1,000 look like? There's so much more that it goes into. You work hard, but do you work smart? Yes.
Something about that, speaking to shooting, it just popped in my mind, little commercial break here, is that the shooting machine, you get those passes coming from the center of the bottom of the rim where you barely ever get a pass from.
Right.
And so it's like, I'm putting work in, but hey, the angle in which the pass comes and the footwork you have to get to different parts of the court really matters. So I think it has its use of getting reps up and practicing your form, for sure, set shots and all that. But also you need to have like 2 people on that machine so somebody can pass you the ball. It's great for helping you rebound so you're not running all over the place. But that's what those machines should be built for, is rebounding principles. And then being able to partner with somebody to get the passes in real game-like settings. So just wanted to tell you guys that, like, shooting machine is great if you use it properly. Yep,
shooting machine for me, it was very rarely catch and shoot. If I'm using the shooting machine, I'm working on off the dribble.
There you go. I love that. So there you go. There's a little commercial break for y'all. Great. So moving into high school. So you have this amazing game. I'm assuming that's in the summer right before 9th grade.
Yep.
And so was 9th grade with just your home school?
No. I was at Cleveland High School.
Okay.
Cleveland High School under Coach Andre, who's now at Sierra Canyon.
Yeah.
That was another big wake-up call there. Big wake-up call, as it was extremely talented team. It's the era of Jordan Farmar, Nick Young, Jason Hill, just some dogs.
Some hoopers.
just some dogs. And, I played JV as a freshman. I played JV as a freshman, and my freshman year was more than I've had to take in mentally, and just seeing another extreme level.
Yes.
Right. So there was a whole nother learning process and figuring out, okay, how do I work to achieve this? So that was another big year for my mental and physical growth.
Yeah, so coming from middle school to high school, and you were good. I mean, you were dropping buckets on people as a middle schooler, on high schoolers before you get there. A lot of 8th graders don't understand that jump, even when you're high level.
Right.
What does that jump take for you? Say you had a lot to understand. What are the things that you're going to tell your son when he gets to 8th grade, going to 9th grade? What are the things you're going to tell him to prepare for?
One, I would say physically, it's just a different game. Not as big of a jump as high school to college,
right?
But it's close. It's close if we're talking about playing varsity as a freshman at a high level. Physically it's different. So he'll start working on his body in the 7th grade. I would say that you may think that you have thick enough skin now, but you were the best player. You're not going to go there and be the best player. So how do you rewire mentally going from top dog to now going to a place where you have 17, 18-year-olds who already have what you want? So just being able to navigate through that and stay mentally tough, I think it would be the biggest advice I'd give my son.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. 8th graders, listen up. Y'all about to make a decision to go to one of these schools in Southern California specifically. Yeah. It ain't every school, even the schools that you think are weak have dudes that are better than you. It's not a game out here. So thank you for that advice. And
yeah, for sure.
They need to hear that.
Yeah.
Playing JV. So how did you play on JV though?
I was solid. I started on JV, but we had our JV team. We looked like a varsity team, right? We had 6'6", 6'7".
Oh my gosh!
We had the guys who were number 12, 13 on varsity, still coming down and playing games with JV. And shoot, our JV team was practicing against varsity. We were the whooping boys for them, So that experience overall was solid. It was good. I think I got more out of that than if I would have just rode the bench, on varsity. And a lot of people take shame to playing JV nowadays, and I understand that the game is a whole lot different. And finding a good JV team that plays against good competition may be a lot harder to find nowadays. But for development, especially as a freshman, to get your reps in, it's very important.
Nothing like game reps. That's what I tell people. It's nothing like game reps. I tell them, I say, as a freshman, if you're not getting 12 to 15 on varsity, go play JV.
Yep.
Just believe it. It's so hard for them to conceptualize. And there's kids right now who I told, just go play JV. And like, no, I want to be on varsity. I'm a varsity player, blah, blah, blah. I see my friends at other school that I'm better than on varsity. And it's like, you're not hearing what I'm saying.
Right.
There's nothing you can do about someone who's in front of you that has more experience, understand the coach's system, and is physically ready to play, even though you're more talented and skilled. Yep. But if you're not getting those minutes, those quality minutes, there's no point. Just go practice with varsity. Exactly. I didn't say nothing about you don't have to practice with JV.
Right.
Practice with varsity. Go play JV and get your minutes. And so I'm good. I'm glad that happened. And so from there, did you get introduced to AAU? Did you stay in AAU ball your freshman year, after the season?
I don't think I played AAU ball my freshman year, at the end of my freshman year. I don't think I did. I ended up transferring.
Okay.
So I didn't finish out at Cleveland. I ended up transferring to Poly, Sun Valley. Mm-hmm. Which I think shocked a lot of people, going from Cleveland to Poly, who hasn't really had a dude since Gail Goodrich. So I think that spring and summer was just get in the gym, get better, and get ready.
Yeah. So why did you decide to transfer?
There's a lot of different reasons. Poly had an academic program that would have allowed me to finish up early. There was like a track system. Yeah. So I can go year round school and get done with school earlier, to the point where my senior year I think I had one class and I could just be all in on basketball. And just from the athletic standpoint, the starting point guard for Cleveland, who was really good, DeAndre, he was a sophomore and I was a freshman. Mm. So I was like, well, do I really want to wait 3 years for my turn? And, it's not that I didn't think I could beat him out or anything like it, but he was a really good, really good hooper. Like it was his spot. So I just saw an opportunity, saw a good fit, and that was my home school. So I went to a place where all the kids I grew up with at the rec, they all went there, and it was a reunion.
That's dope. That's dope. Now, as a coach, and you see opportunity for kids, right? Do you consider that when kids are interested in going to Windward, right? And you see that there's a point guard. I got Gavin Hightower who's going to be my point guard for the next 2 years.
Right.
Do you let them know what that development looks like and understand when they do decide to go somewhere else because of the opportunity they may have to play earlier? So how do you navigate that now as a coach?
No one will ever say, I've been coaching for 10 years. There's no parent or kid that can say, Coach DJ didn't tell me this. So I'm a firm believer in painting a clear picture when someone wants to come and play for me, no matter what the situation is, high school, AAU, club, whatever it may be, that, hey, this is my situation. We do have Gavin Hightower here. He is my point guard. And as long as he's here, it is his spot. Now, if you beat him out, you beat him out.
Right.
It is what it is, but at the end of the day, you going against Gavin Hightower as a point guard, iron sharpens iron, right? You are going to get better, and he is somebody that is going to challenge you and make you a better player. So, are you willing to be patient, or are you willing to sacrifice your freshman year to learn and to develop, or is this something that you feel like you want it right now, and that is something only you can answer?
Right. No, I think both decisions are helpful, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said, you went on and had a great career elsewhere, right? Because you knew you were going to put the work in and all those kinds of things. And I think it's important for the parents to see nowadays, right? Is your kid actually committed to this game? Can they go and compete with a Division I guard at their high school and use that opportunity to develop into what they're going to be, Right. And so, or do you need to go somewhere else where you're going to have the ball in your hands and, your kids is going to feed off of that confidence that the coach is going to put into them?
Right.
Know your kid.
Yep.
Don't put them in a situation that they're not prepared for. It's the worst thing you could do. Our job as parents is to prepare our kids for situations in life, especially in this basketball game, because of how these kids are committed and how impactful it can be. So, like you said, I think it's depending on the kid, depending on the situation. There's no one answer.
Exactly.
A lot of times it's kids shouldn't transfer. Kids shouldn't hold back.
No,
Man,
has their own path.
That's it. And you have to know your child. You have to know their heart. Not what you want.
Right.
Not, no, you better than them. Stay at Cleveland. Like, no, you a dog. Nah,
right.
Like, know your kid. Like, nah, DJ gonna put the work in. Let's go ahead and go to the homeschool and you make a name for yourself and a name for this program.
Right.
Because your parents agreed with that probably because they knew who you were.
My dad did. My mom did it.
Really?
My dad was very supportive. My mom was not happy with the decision.
Because?
Well, again, my mom did not come from an athletic background, right? So what she knew is you're going to go to school, you're going to get your degree, and you're going to go to college, and you get your degree in college. My parents didn't think I was a college basketball player probably until like my junior or senior year.
Did you know you were a college basketball player before that?
No.
Yeah, no.
I didn't. I didn't have.
Yeah.
I didn't have that around me. I didn't have it until I got my first letter in the mail. I was like, what is this? Somebody explained to me what a letter was.
No, that's awesome. I was similar position, right? So I remember my freshman year, I go to my college council. I went to a public school, had 3,000 kids in it. And they're like, oh, what colleges are you thinking about the sophomore year? I was like, UCLA. Like, I want to go to UCLA. I want to play basketball at UCLA. Right? And I'm on JV as a sophomore. Like, that's who I was, right? And they're like, even my counselor was like, oh, okay. Have they talked to you? Right. And I'm like, no. I'm just going to get there. Right. Like, that was my word. Like, I love the UCLA basketball. Same thing. My parents didn't have the information. Right. It's crazy. I had my AAU coaches in middle school had the information, but I don't know if I didn't listen to them or I wasn't seeking that information the right way. And so that's what I thought. I was like, oh, no, I'm going to play college basketball. That's it. Right. And it wasn't until my senior year where I truly understood, like, oh, oh, this is how this thing works as far as college. So no, it's very, very crazy how you still have the dream of being in the NBA though, right?
Of course.
So you still have this dream of being in the NBA. Most likely you got to go to college first to get to the NBA, statistically speaking.
Right.
But you didn't even know how to get to college, or if you were that level of player.
I did it until, my first high school AAU coach, Rodney Robinson, who I owe so much to, took me underneath his wing, coached the program BCA. He was the first person to tell me, DJ, like, you're good enough. Like you are gonna play college basketball. And I just looked at him like, really? He's like, yeah, you're and so he got, me and my family on board, and he was the one who guided us, through the process.
That's awesome. It takes one person, man.
It takes one, because if he did it, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I think part of it is the work you put in, right?
Yeah.
And so if you work to a certain level to improve yourself in anything you do, then God's going to meet you where you're at, right? And send somebody to guide you to go to those, get to the next level. So, So your sophomore year, new school, but familiar school, right? In your home and around people that you grew up with. And did you have to sit out, or because it was your home school?
I did not have to sit out.
Oh, because of JV, yeah.
Well, JV. And I also filed for, I had a hardship as well. So that's when there's like some shootings going on around Taft, and I was taking the public bus to school. Whoa. So parents are like, this isn't, it's not going to work out. So there's a lot of different dynamics that just led. It wasn't just an athletic. It was a lot of things that happened, for me to make the move.
And then you make the move, and how'd your sophomore season go?
Sophomore season went great.
Yeah,
it went great. I was in a position where the ball was in my hand. I'm playing with my friends, and I think I was averaging 20 points a game, and we were winning. And it was, Cleveland freshman year. It was a lot mentally. It was a lot physically. Coach Andre was also somebody in my life that. Even though he didn't coach me, I still practiced with varsity, and I still watched, and he showed me what that next level looked like of work. It was like the first time where I saw a team that had Division I players on it, and I got to see how they actually work, how they attack things, the small details. So taking my knowledge, from there and applying it to a school that doesn't have much basketball history, I think everything just lined up perfectly. Yeah.
Did you saw the players at Poly kind of raise their level because of you being there? Like you said, you took those things, right? And you saw them, so you knew how to work. Did the other players step up to that plate?
Absolutely. It was an instant brotherhood. And it's funny because the way it panned out, I was the only black kid on the team. And it was a bunch of, kids from Hispanic backgrounds and things like that. And we were walking into gyms, and you look at us in the warm-up lines like, oh, this is going to be a joke.
Don't pass the eye test?
This is going to be a joke. Right? We'd come out there and take care of business. But it wasn't because we were more skilled. It wasn't because of me. It was because we were a team that was fully bought in, a brotherhood. Everybody understood their role, right? Guys, if you're a three-point shooter, you don't dribble the ball more than once or twice. You're our big. Like, everybody just tried to be great at who they individually were.
Not everybody was allowed to dribble on your team.
Everybody was allowed to put the ball on the ground.
Because they were not a good enough ball handler, regardless of their development. But when they were ready, they could put the ball down.
Exactly.
That's how basketball works. When you put the work in and you prove it, then you get to do that.
Right.
High school is not, how do I say this the right way? High school is a place where you develop, but in season is where you play your role.
Exactly.
And you develop all the other skills outside of that, outside of the season, so you can be prepared for a war, for battle. Exactly. It's like literally going to war. Like, I don't know how to shoot this gun, but I'm gonna try it. And you might kill some of your own people. So
exactly.
Yeah. No, that's that's dope to be able to go to a place, because you hear it now. Kids are like, oh, my team sucks, or these players are not as good, but to be able to go to a place, true leader, right?
Right.
To raise people up to your level. It happens a lot post AAU. Guys who play on the high level circuits, and they get back to their high school teams where not everybody plays on it. It's recreational for some of these kids in high school.
Right.
And it's so easy for them. And it's so tough to get them to mentally like stay focused and compete and to raise their level of play by raising their teammates' level of play.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Do you have a secret sauce to that? To as a player, right? For a player who's in that position, what can they do to get their team to raise their level?
So one, I always tell kids that it doesn't start with your voice, it starts with your actions. Right. So when I showed up to the new school, I was a kid asking the coach, can you open up the gym at 6 a.m.? Right. Hey, let's go to tell my players, let's get an extra lift in. Right. What are you guys about to do? I'm about to go to the park. You guys want to go and hoop? So like just me just constantly, hey, I'm about to do something basketball related. Like, let's go do it. Like, hey, like, come on, let's go get some extra work in. I was that kid. And whether guys where I came in felt like, whether they were better than me or I was competition, no matter how they felt, at some point when somebody says, hey, you want to do some extra work, like at some point you're going to say yes.
Right.
You know,
right.
Especially if everybody else is saying yes.
Right.
So for me, that was my approach. Like going to a new school, you know, keep your mouth shut and then just do what I do best. And that was just work. And that kind of caught on, you know, my sophomore year. But, you know, headed into the next year, things really, really took off.
And why? What happened in that next year? Well, sophomore year, did you guys make playoffs? How far did you go?
We made playoffs, and I think that was the year. That was the year where we played Fremont. And Fremont had, they were loaded. They had the guys from New York that came in. Was it Danny? I forgot his name. Really high jumper. But they had 5 Division I players, and they were picked to win it all, and that was like our opening game was Fremont.
Oh, how fun.
So then we ended up losing by 20, but I had 30 something. You know, and that's kind of where the buzz started to really really take off.
All right, so now transitioning into that junior year,
yes.
What changed? You said it really took off.
So that spring and summer, especially with my teammates, we really worked. We really worked. We were, you know, going to the sand dunes. We're at all the local pickup games. We were. Our coach Katz, he was, you know, trying to find the best competition for us to play against in the summer, you know, on top of, you know, me playing AAU basketball. And, you know, we were just ready, you know, we were ready to really, you know, try and make a run. And everybody's game was doing this now, right? Because we're all in it together. And, you know, it's a tough place to be because usually in the spring and summer, once basketball season is over, everybody likes to go their own way, right? And work on their craft and then come back and show you what they can do now, you know? But for us, it was like, no, let's stay together. Let's stay together. Let's work together. And I was still in a place where I really didn't know what AAU meant. Like I was taking my high school 10 times more serious than AAU. You know, like if we had a game for high school and had a game for AAU, I was really like, which one should I was that kid. Like, I really want to play with my high school guys and, you know, but of course AAU is a different stage, you know, so that summer, we really, really worked as a group. And
then when did you start receiving college interest? Was this around the same time?
It started my junior campaign season. I really didn't get a lot from AAU college looks. I wasn't really an AAU type of player. I wasn't flashy. I wasn't a high jumper. Wasn't like I needed system. I needed plays. I needed to know the guys that I was going to be playing with, not the guys who were, you know, flying in for a weekend and flying out. Like that wasn't I didn't look good in just open run format.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't me. So a lot of stuff that I got was from high school.
No, that's awesome. No, I think that happens to a lot of players now. They call them late bloomers.
Right.
No, the truth is that college scouts, coaches, it's tough to recognize the potential of a kid when they need it, which most colleges run systems and you need people who can execute those systems and fit in roles. Some schools do a great job, but I think a lot of people do get slept on.
Yeah.
I think that's how Kihei Clark goes all the way to Virginia. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
Right.
You can't see that this boy can play basketball regardless of his size. Like, you see that happen where these kids are leaving California. I'm just talking specifically about Southern California.
Yeah.
And they're doing a better job. UCLA, USC, a bunch of Southern CSUN even. They're getting LA kids back into the LA schools. And so look at that. Like, how do you see between somebody who's just, hey, this is a 4 or 5 star athlete, like he can rock, or somebody who's going to fit your system perfectly and do a good job.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, no, that's awesome. So going into that junior season, what kind of noise did you guys make?
We made junior season. That was a fun ride. I believe that was the year where we played Compton Dominguez with Brandon Jennings. I think they beat us by 10. But that was another breakout game, you know, for me, where I think I had 32 points or something.
With him guarding you?
I'm not gonna say he was guarding me.
He was there though. you were playing against Brandon.
I'm not gonna say he was guarding me, but you know,
Yeah.
I had a good game.
Yeah.
I had a good game. We lost a close one, and that was when the Westchester tournament was you know, at an all-time high, and you know, went out there and performed well, and that's when everything just started clicking and started to feel, I don't want to say easy, but you know, it was that work that we put in the spring and summer. Now everybody can start to see it.
Everybody had confidence.
Everybody had confidence.
Regardless of their talent and skill level.
No matter who we were playing against, it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Love that. And then, so throughout that season, how far did you guys make the playoffs? And
that playoff run, that one probably hurts the most because we played, played Compton in the first round. And I had my worst offensive performance of the year. I think I was about 1 for 10, 1 for 11 from 3. And I had every open look that I wanted, and we fell short, and again lost first round. Lost first round, and you know, my team did everything they could to help stay in it, and I just couldn't. I think I was averaging 26 points a game, and I probably finished with like 8 or something. So that was a big punch to the gut.
what was that night like after the game?
Oh, it was brutal.
Yeah.
I remember the bus ride home, and we had a senior captain, Ever Lopez, hell of a basketball player. It was his last game, and I just looking at him and seeing the hurt in him, and like, oh man, I let you down, and he was our point guard actually, and you know, and I mean, that's just something that just, you know, stuck with me. Just remember seeing like, oh man, like I really let them down. You know, that's how I took it. And you know, the very next day, I'm back in the gym. You know,
that was the question I was going to ask. How do you bounce back from that? Because I think we all have those moments, especially with hoop. I missed some key free throws, and it was our second to last game my junior year.
Yeah.
And against Corona Centennial, and we were not supposed to be in the game with them. Like that's Anthony Goods. They had some dudes.
Yeah.
And same thing. I missed 2 very key free throws. It was like I was supposed to make it. I missed it. I had 4 free throws in the last like minute.
Yeah.
Missed 2. Fouled me again. Missed 1. Was supposed to brick let it bounce off the rim, and I airballed. Tough night.
Oh yeah.
Tough night. Went to dark places in my mind.
Oh,
I
for
think
sure.
I talk about it because I think some kids get stuck there instead of waking up. I did the same thing. I got up the next morning, and I didn't have access to the gym. I was outside at school shooting free throws, and it was like, my teammates were not feeling me. Yeah. They were not feeling like they was doing it. So like, I didn't get no dap, no pound. Like, what's up, dog?
Right.
Yeah, like, my real homies had me, but there was some teammates who were pissed off at me.
For sure.
And it was one of those moments like, that's never gonna happen again.
Never gonna happen again.
Never gonna happen again. So
never gonna happen again.
Yeah. So you start getting some interest in your junior year, and some college coaches start coming around from making noise. So what were the first schools to kind of show you interest, and what did it mean to you then? Since you were kind of new to this,
right,
and understanding what was going on.
It was. It had the local schools: UC Santa Barbara, UC Irvine, CSUN. Montana, the Ivy Leagues were starting to gain interest. I think I got 3.8 GPA or something. I had really good grades. So those were the schools that were really starting to pick up interest and reach out. So I was the lower level D1s and to that point, like I get the letters, I read the letters, and like, oh, this is cool, but it's still not clicking for me. Like this is about to become a reality. Yeah. It's still not clicking. It's not like how it is now, where they just you offer and you post it on your. It wasn't like that. It just seemed like light dating, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get these typed out letters with a signature at the bottom. You don't know if it's real or fake or whatever. But the shoe boxes were starting to get full. Yeah. So that was pretty cool, and the attention started to really, really grow, and that's the spring and summer where I started playing with Compton Magic.
There we go.
And that was a whole other right? a whole other jump there, and different level of basketball.
Who was on your team with Compton Magic?
We had Jesse Woodard, played at Colorado State, I believe. We had another guard who ended up somewhere same area.
You're aging yourself by not knowing. Just want you to know that.
No, I'm sorry, guys. I don't remember. You guys are fun to play with, but I don't remember.
But what was that experience like playing in that high level of AAU?
It probably took me 2 to 3 tournaments for me just to get comfortable. It took me 2 to 3 tournaments. The stage, the atmosphere, you got SCA who's just running over everybody with Kevin Love, Brandon Jen, like that whole team. And it was just a lot to jump into. Yeah. So, and again, it wasn't my style of play. Like we weren't really running sets and strategy. It was just like, just go out there and just stop them, right? Okay, well, how are we guarding the ball screen? What are we gonna do on the ball screen?
What's the coverage?
Just get through it, right? Like, so it was an experience, and it's funny as I'm talking this out loud. Like, there's definitely staples that happened in my life where I was like, oh crap, like this happened, and it forced me to work even harder, right? Level up, like sink or swim. So it took me some time to get adjusted just to that experience. But I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Oh, for sure.
Atope is great. Obviously, what he's doing, it's no surprise he's at the level of where he is, and what he continues to do for the community. And I'm just happy that I was able to be a part of his journey.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so and then after that spring and summer, recruitment picks up.
Oh yeah. Recruitment.
Offers start coming in, real offers.
Honestly, I don't know. It's because the recruiting game was different.
Right.
It was, hey, we really like you. We want you here, but like, the conversation of we're offering you a scholarship, like that wasn't really how things were going back then. And I wasn't a high major recruit. I wasn't a mid-major recruit at this moment. And, you know, hindsight and talking to guys, they're like, DJ, we didn't really go after you that hard because we just didn't think we can get you, you know? So it's like, oh, okay.
That's crazy.
You know, so you know, it was.
Now, I want to talk about that because that happens in coaching, right? Is that they think these guys, like, why would I offer this kid? He should be recruited by a higher level school.
Yes.
What would be your advice to coaches going through that as a player and probably seeing it now as a coach and having those relationships with those coaches? I wonder if they really have experienced that, or are they just not doing it, right? That's always my question. Like, did you offer somebody that you thought was not, or, you know, you couldn't get and you didn't get them? Or is this just an assumption from, hey, man, they're too good for me?
Right. You know, and especially with the way that the game is changing with the transfer portal and things like that, I feel like coaches should always just do their homework, right? And that's coming from somebody. I was committed to UC Irvine before I went to San Diego State. And I committed to UC Irvine because, one, they were the school that was showing me the most love. They were the school that I felt really, really wanted me. They were the school that was showing me, you know, just a lot of attention, where other guys were like, yeah, like, you know, we like you. Are you interested? And, you know, maybe I wasn't reading between the lines in my conversations. Like, nobody coached me on how to talk to coaches, or I didn't know, you know. Right. So I made a commitment just based off of relationship, you know, and I feel like, you know, coaches nowadays, they build a relationship. You may not get them as a freshman, but the way that the things are working right now, you know, and guys going a level too high and having to bounce back down, like, I would say put your foot in the ring with anybody you think. You know,
I think you said the key is building that relationship. I think a kid's going to go where they're comfortable, if they feel most comfortable with you. And that's how you get, you see in the NBA now, a bunch of kids that went low and mid-major who are thriving in the NBA because they went to the person they had a relationship with.
Exactly.
So, you know, my advice to college coaches is always like, just try it. Like, why not?
Right.
Like, what are we talking about? That's how you build something special.
Right.
Is doing what nobody else is doing. And that's definitely going after kids who are above your level.
Right.
College is college, especially if you're paying for it.
Yep.
Like,
right.
A little different with NIL if you're a higher tier player.
For sure.
But then you'll get that. So yeah, man, that's important, I think, to say and to hear, and for kids to even position your language when you speak to a coach is like, hey, I'm considering everybody because you want to be in the best place that's for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so when did you commit to Irvine? Was that before your senior season, during, after?
I think that was... I think it was during my senior season. I think it was either during or late senior season.
Okay.
Yeah, it was either during or late.
And so what happened? Because you ended up at San Diego State.
Well, I mean, I had a great senior.
Yeah.
You know, I had a great senior.
Average 28, was it?
Yeah, 29, something like that. Yeah.
No, we want the numbers, man. Give us the numbers. That's what we're here for. Hear the story. Yeah, so it's something around 30.
Yeah, something around 30. I averaged something around 30. And I went on a stretch where I think I had like 38, 56, 42. Like I went on this scoring tear. Yeah.
56.
56.
How did that feel?
I missed my first 7 shots.
Just keep shooting, people.
I missed my first 7 shots. I shot 23 free throws.
I got to the line.
Made 22. That helps.
But so that makes sense because the 30 you average plus all your free throws, I guess. Man, 56 is. Do you remember who it was against?
Van Nuys.
You remember very clearly.
Oh yes, because I had one of my good friends played for Van Nuys.
So he's going at him.
Yeah, it was good.
So we outer body experience, right? When you're just that hot.
Oh, 100%. I had no idea. If they would have asked me, I would have thought I had 25 or 30. I had no clue.
The crowd wasn't going crazy as you were doing it?
Oh, they were.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it ended up in overtime too. So it was a really, really.
Oh, it was a game.
It was a game.
It wasn't even a blowout.
It was no.
I thought it was gonna blow
let
up.
me do that. When we have blowouts.
Yeah.
When we had blowouts, he sat me third, fourth quarter. I remember one time. We joke about it till this day. There was a game where the bus was leaving. I showed up late. For some reason, I got to the bus late. And he was like, well, you got to sit out the first quarter. I'm like, dang. We were playing Canoga Park. They weren't very good at that in that time. So I sat out the first quarter. And by the third quarter, he was like, I mean, we were blowing him out. And he was like, you're not playing the fourth quarter. I'm like, I'll say, okay, well, you know, I'm close to my average. Can I get I think I'm close. And he's like, okay. And his wife is doing the book. So she tells him, hey, he hit it. So like, okay, I come out like, oh, I hit my average. I had 30 points in 2 quarters, right? And then we go back and the game is over. We go back into the book. It was 28. It was 28, and I was just furious, and I'm giving him a hard time, giving her a hard time. You told me it was 30. But no, I had a coach who was always showed great sportsmanship, and I truly believe there were some games out there if he would have just been like go
right,
it could have a
couple more 56.
It could have been
been ugly. Man, yeah, that's awesome. Now, how did your senior year end as far as the team and the success?
Well, we made a really, really good run. We made it to the semis.
Oh, nice.
We made it to the semis and qualified for state. I think we lost to Westchester in the semis, and beat some pretty good teams, to get there. And then went to state, played Corona Centennial first, I believe. And then we played, who did we, starts with a P, not Palm Down,
not Pomona, no.
No, it's down in oh my gosh, Pasadena.
Oh gosh.
We played Pasadena, who was absolutely loaded. They were loaded, and I remember going into that game, and I looked at my coach, and I said, I don't have anything left in me. Like I was just physically done, run down. We lost that one, but that was a loss where you're like, I can eat that because I know I gave physically everything. Like I just could barely get up and down the court. Like I was just physically worn down. But to make it that far, which the school has never done, it was, and to do it with my boys that I've been playing with since I was 7-8 years old. Man, it was a really good run.
The dudes that made the All-Star team that you didn't make?
Yes.
The comeback.
Yes, right, exactly.
No, that's awesome, man. It comes back full circle, and to go somewhere, which doesn't happen often, and kind of make some noise and create your own space to do you, because you put the work in and you brought others with you, and just what that's like. We have our super teams in high school out here now.
Yes.
And it's fine. It's cool because the competitive games, and it raises your level. You get that opportunity in practice. But it's always respectable when you kind of have like a hometown hero. And man,
sure.
I'm sure you did something for Sun Valley.
And fun community. That community definitely came out in that school spirit, and being a part of something, being part of something special.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So committed to UC Irvine and end up at San Diego State.
Yes.
How's this transition happen?
So Justin Hudson, who was at Cal Poly SLO, just got the job. He was recruiting at Cal Poly SLO. Got the job at San Diego State. And he goes, DJ, he's like, just come and just one more, just come take a look. Just come and take a look. Just come and check it out. Just come spend a day. I'm like, okay. Oh, he was a coach that I really built a really good relationship with in the recruiting process. And he's like, just come and take a look. And I said, okay. So I go down there, and they're practicing. At that time it was called Cox Arena, which is now VA House Arena, which is 12,000, and I'm watching them just get after it. I'm walking around San Diego State's campus. I'm like, oh, this looks a little different. This looks.
Is that the beach right there? Like
this looks and this feels. It feels a little different. And no disrespect to any other coaches who recruited me at that time. But Coach Fisher, he was someone that immediately like I just vibed with him, right? I just felt like I trust him. I don't he's telling me exactly what it is. Doesn't feel like any hidden agendas. It was just a great conversation, and the coaching staff and I was like, yeah, this feels right. This feels right. And I made the call.
Yeah. So you talked about it earlier. You had the best relationship with Irvine, and that's why you chose them. And then going there and seeing another place, keeping your options open. How many visits did you really take?
I didn't really take a lot of official because most of my stuff was West Coast.
Right.
So, I visited 5-6 places, let's just say.
And then just feeling that comfort level at San Diego State and just the vibe.
Yeah.
You kind of just knew.
Yeah. Irvine, I committed because of the staff, not because of UC Irvine. San Diego State, I committed the staff and San Diego State.
Right. No, thank you. That's what I was trying to get to is like, hey, what was the difference? Because you said you had the relationship, but it was for the relationship and the school. And the school. And the location of it, probably. Yeah, it's San Diego, man. Listen, let me tell you something about San Diego. I tell all my kids, hey, San Diego State's recruiting, you go there. Just commit there so I can go to games in San Diego.
Yeah. The funniest thing is I really wanted to go to USD. I really, really wanted to go to USD. I signed up for all their team camps. That was a school where I really wanted to go to. And they were just like, no.
I'm sorry. I think I'm laughing at people like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So you end up at San Diego State, man. Yes. And during a prime time at San Diego State. Yeah.
It wasn't a prime time.
No?
Not till our junior year.
Well, I guess that's what you're building to. Yeah.
We built.
I guess so. So who came in? Okay. Yeah. Who came in your year? So you graduated 2007.
Yes.
So you go in. Who's at San Diego State at that time?
My freshman class.
Yep.
It's me, Tim Shelton, who's now coach at Colorado State, Billy White from Vegas, who I think is still playing professional basketball. And then Brian Horton from Anaheim. Yeah, man. It was us 4.
All right, so you go into San Diego State. You say all the levels were different, right? Elementary to middle to high school to college. What was different about college?
Basketball?
Yes.
I remember after the first week of practice or workouts, I called the assistant coach at UC Irvine and I said, there is a kid by the name of Richie Williams here and I just cannot stay in front of him. No matter what I do, like I can't stay in front of him. Like he beats me all the time. Like I can't get by him. Just call him and panic. But this was the relationship I had with UC Irvine, like especially with this coach, Coach Lamb. He kind of talked me off the edge, a little bit. And it's crazy because out of all the calls I made, it was to a UC Irvine coach. And, he kind of like just talked me through it and, gave me some pointers and things like that. And, one of the best things that, he told me and that I live by to this day is he's like, I know he's kicking your butt right now. He's like, every day in practice, pick him up full court. Just pick him up full court. He's like, at some point, you're going to figure it out. So for that next week, like I just looked like a fool trying to guard one of the fastest players I've ever tried to stay in front of. But by week 3, week 4, I had it. I could do it. I could do it.
Crazy what adversity and facing a problem does.
Yeah.
Not just in hoop, but in life.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity that you had to do that, right, for the coaches to allow you to keep getting your butt kicked.
Right.
And then you having the drive and the mental toughness to listen to this advice and get through it. And I'm sure it was tough.
Oh, heck yeah. My team was, because we were, first we were losing. Like, what are you doing? You can't guard him out there. They're yelling at me, but they don't understand what I'm trying to do. Yep. But I, in that moment, I'm hurting the team when we're competing, because he's just going by me. But it worked out in the long run.
What did you figure out?
Huh?
What did you figure out? Do you know? Like what technical skill or?
It wasn't technical. It wasn't anything technical. It was, to me, the way I look at basketball, it's just rhythm, right? And once you understand a player's rhythm, they become a whole lot easier to guard. And, it's like a dance, right? And so me guarding him full court 2.5 hours a day, like there was at some point where it's like, I know your move. I know when you're going to change speed. I know when you're going to change direct. I figured him out.
Yeah.
I figured him out.
Scouting report.
Yeah, not that I figured like everybody out, but like I specifically figured out him, his tendencies. Just the angles and things like that.
No, that's great. Yeah. No, I love it. And so what was your experience playing your freshman year through the season and, developing under somebody who was way faster than you? And
my first 2 years was an absolute roller coaster. It was, and after my freshman year, I went back to the coaching staff and asked them if I can redshirt. I asked them if I could, redshirt, not because I didn't think I was good enough or anything like that. We had a team that I feel on paper was better than the team I had as a senior in college. We had some dudes, Kyle Spain, Lorenzo Wade, Ryan Omarosa. Like we had dudes.
Yeah.
But we also were a team that was so talented that it hurt us because, I can't speak for them, but it just seemed like, guys had their own agenda and trying to reach another level. And, so instead of all of us going this way, we had a guy this way, guy this way, guy that way. And so it was hard to maneuver in that. And, Richie was a really good point guard. And, there's games where like I started and then I didn't start and then I started again. And then, playing time went down and I would go to the assistant coaches like what am I doing wrong or what can I be doing better? And it was one of those situations where like, DJ, like you're doing well. Like we just have a guy in front of you. Like it's not anything you're doing. It's just we just have a guy in front. And I'm just like that was hard. That was hard to to take in and I never went through that situation before. Had I stayed at Cleveland, I probably would have been used to it. But I also think that I wouldn't have grown into the player that I was if I stayed there at the same time. Right. So that was just some adversity that I never just hit before.
It seems like everybody goes through that in basketball at some point.
Yes, you have to.
You're going to have to play behind somebody who you are not necessarily not better than. Right. You just got to wait your turn.
Gotta wait.
There is a patience to this, and I think parents. I'm sure it happens at their jobs where they have to wait for that promotion, where they have to wait to be a leader or a manager. And they waited their turn, but for some reason they think in basketball, because their kid is in the gym, they can just pass it up.
Right.
But no, it happens to everyone, regardless of where they are. You're going to have to sit behind somebody. I was a sixth man most of my career.
Yeah.
And I was good at it, and I was fine with it. I think it's because I accepted that, right? That Jamal Crawford, like, I don't care when you put me in the game.
Right, exactly.
We gonna get it.
Exactly.
But I think there's a mental toughness to it, and figuring that out, and still doing your part, still working, still picking the guy up full court in practice and all those things. Like, change it. What changed for you mentally, just in life in general, going to college, like being at home, and then being away from home? Was there a huge change?
I feel like I was forced to grow up fast, faster than maybe I wanted to, but I was wired different. I was just wired different. So coming into college, right, I was the kid where some guys wanted to go out and party and, do those kind of things. And like, for me, I was like, I'm about to go run this mountain. You guys want to come? Like, I was, like, I'm about to go get this extra lift in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go and play some pickup, And not that I didn't like having a good time, but I just like, for me, because I wasn't a crazy athlete. I wasn't tall. I had no room for error.
Yeah.
I'm coming in as a 5'11" point guard and playing with some absolute monsters, So for me, I think it was the fear of me losing a step.
Yeah.
Right. It's like if I don't get my 500 shots in today, like, oh, that can affect me for tomorrow. Like, if I don't keep my conditioning up, like, I have to be able to do something on the court that stands out because I'm not a freak of nature.
Yeah.
So I think taking that, and that was like kind of like the first time where like my work ethic at that time didn't lead to instant success. And I like had to sit on that, like, man, I'm working harder than everybody. Like, I shoot better than him, like, but it just wasn't my time. And that forced me to, I could be the player who points fingers and like, oh, they don't like me. The coach is against me. Oh, the politics. It can be that, or it can just, hey, continue working. And when your name is called, just be ready.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing that's a gift and a talent, right? Mm-hmm. That to have that extreme focus and to, that not everybody has that. Mm-hmm. And because if they did, then none of us would be playing basketball at a higher level, because there's some freak athletes out there who, if they had your work ethic, man, the player that they would be, right? And so that is a skill to just grind and to work and to do the extra and to sacrifice some fun and some social things for the game if that's what you love.
Right.
And you want to play, right? And so I'm gonna ask kids like, hey, you think you're better than them? What are you doing from this time to this time?
Right.
What are you doing when practice is over?
Right.
What are you doing at home to get better? What are you eating?
Right.
What extra, are you doing extra lifting?
Right.
People are scared of weights. People are scared of that weight room.
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy. Whenever a kid comes up to me, and they say, oh, I want to play at the next level. My first question is, okay, how many hours are you putting in outside of your own basketball practice? And they're like, I keep it small. I say, well, is it plus or minus 10? I said, well, if it's minus 10, I said, then this conversation is over. It's over. I said, then let's come back and have a conversation when you're at 10 plus a week. And that's outside of your own basketball practice. Like, that's how straightforward I am. Like, plus or minus 10.
Man.
I was doing 15 to 18. And I'm like, Coach, how in the world do you do 15 to 18 hours a week outside of practice and do school? I said, well, at school, I finished my homework at school.
Man, talk about it.
I finished my homework at school. So by the time practice was over, I go straight to the park. And from the park, I went to LA Fitness, which was the hot spot growing up. Went to LA Fitness. I get another lift in. I played pickup with grown men for 2 hours. And before I left, I had to get 100 makes. And I would do that. And that just includes Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
So it's like, what is your routine?
Plus or minus 10. Another one I'm selling. Look at DJ. Let me tell you something, man. Go ahead and write a book. I'm quoting you on all these, but I like that plus or minus 10. That's a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
For any kid, middle school on up, like how much more extra work you're getting in. So 10 that means that you're the minimum. 10 is the minimum. And if you're doing less than that, it's minus 1. If you're doing 9, that means you're at, oh man,
right.
I love it. You're minus 1. So I love that. Awesome. And so when did the work start paying off?
So after my sophomore year, that the upper class, they all left, right? They were all leaving, and that's when we made our Final Four run of the NIT, and then we had, I think, about 5 or 6 seniors leave. So going into my junior year, it was now my turn. It was my turn to run the show, and from that jump, and that's when we had that next freshman class come in, Kawhi Leonard and Chase Tapley, and I'm not sure if Jamal Franklin was that class or the class after.
He's 09.
Yeah, so he might be.
Yeah.
So we had that wave of So now it was our turn. Me, Billy, Tim, Brian. We were the upperclassmen now, and I remember us having this conversation once they left. Like, all right, fellas, like, you know, what is it that we want to show the new guys coming in? Like, we really had this conversation. Like, how are we gonna? Do we want to be like how? Do you want to be treated how we were treated as freshmen? Are we gonna do something different? Like, this was an actual conversation, and you know, our thing was do what it takes to win. Like, we just want to win. You know, we want to be the first team to win. You know, NCAA game. We want to make an NCAA run, and you know, and it was back to like high school, having a team where everybody bought into, you know, what we do best. And then we had Tyrone Shelley and then Malcolm Thomas come in that year as well. Yeah. So like everything was just aligning perfectly.
Man, y'all had a squad.
Yeah.
Squad. Yeah. I love Jamal Franklin's game, by the way. He's one of my favorite all time, man. And I saw him when he was playing in China. He came over to Impact when I was training. He was with the team over there. So actually, and so I'm from the IE too. So those are all my, like, the older dudes are the dudes that I knew of. I'm older than him, but like I stayed connected to the IE. So I was like, yeah. But so the junior year, and so you running the show, which it seems like, because you guys had some success, more success than the previous years, that part of it is like, man, you should have been running the show earlier. But it's all good. Ratings return. It's all good. The perfect storm happens, and you got some talent. You guys have some experience. People staying, which is always great. So what'd you guys do that junior year?
That junior year, I believe, junior year, we had a really good preseason. I think we finished second or third in the league, but we won that conference championship. So it was our first taste of a conference championship, and being able to celebrate and, you know, look around to the guys that came in with, and it's like, hey, like this is what we wanted. Like, this was on our list to accomplish, and that was such a great feeling to kind of scratch, you know, mark that box. Mm-hmm. We end up first round. I think it was 7-8 against Tennessee. Against Tennessee. And we end up losing that game by 3 with a shot to tie, to send it to overtime, and we missed the shot. But that's how that season ended. But like for us, like it hurt, it sucked, but we had everybody coming back.
Yeah,
we had everybody coming back.
It was time to go. So playing with a future pro and Kawhi, future all-star, superstar kind of player, what was he like as a freshman?
Kawhi, he is a definition of a gym rat. Everything that you hear about his work ethic.
More than you?
Everything you hear about his work ethic is true. He was the first person that I came across where I couldn't beat him to the gym. I couldn't stay in later than him. The story of him, them shutting the lights off on him in the gym, and him going, propping the door open, bringing a lamp in, bringing a lamp in the gym to continue get shots up. Like, true stories. True. He was that. Talk about a man on a mission. That was Kawhi.
Wow.
That was Kawhi. Now, Kawhi wasn't going to go run mountains with me and do all the other, you know. Yeah. But he was going to live in that. He was going to live in that gym. He was going to live in that gym.
Wow, that's crazy. I've never heard that light story.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, no. I brought a lamp. Like, I was a gym rat. I've shot in the dark before, but to prop the door open and bring the light is a commitment. And then you guys kind of recreated the culture again, right? You did it again. And so you did this in high school and you did it again in college. And, you know, you did it again at Windward. You know, like just redeveloping culture. How do you do that? If I'm about to go become a high school coach, how would you tell me, hey, this is how you develop culture?
Well, the first question I would ask you is, what are the 3 most important things to you? What does success look like to you as a coach? You start there and you start working backwards. You know, that would be like my first, because everybody has their own thought process. Everybody has their own things that they want to achieve. Like, I didn't come to Windward with my first thought saying I want to be an open state champion. That wasn't on my top three list.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was I want to come to a place where I have the opportunity to coach some high level athletes, some great kids, and I would just want to compete against the best. Like that's the environment that I want to be in, and I want to showcase that I can win and be competitive in those environments, and I can do it the right way. And everybody says, "Oh, what's the right way? Are you trying to take shots?" I'm not trying to take shots at anybody. Every school has their own way of approaching athletics.
Right.
Some places are more lenient than others, and Windward is Windward. You know, like we're a place where we're not going to take senior transfers. We're not a place where, academics really matter. I like to say it's similar to like a Stanford of high schools.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean as a competitor I don't want the senior transfers or want the late? Of course not, right? Of course not. But being able to go to a place and no matter what structure it is, just being able to be competitive and have an impact.
Oh, I love that. Know your goals and work backwards from.
Yes.
So, all right. So junior year, you guys make the tournament. You guys have everybody coming back. They always say it's harder to do the same thing to repeat, right? And we're talking about championships, but you guys were the conference champions with the conference tournament, and then making that. So, how do you level up from junior to senior year to get better?
Well, we didn't win our league championship our junior year. So that was on our list. We weren't ranked our junior year. And, for us, is we want to win. We want to win an NCAA game. We want to make a run in March Madness. Like that was like the goal. That was the goal. And we knew that we were good and talented. The country didn't really know just how good and talented, but it wasn't until we beat Gonzaga at Gonzaga on ESPN where I was like, oh, wait a minute, and
who was on that Gonzaga team?
Gray, Stephen Gray, I think his name is. What's the guy who used to play for the Lakers?
Adam Morrison?
Not Adam Morrison.
No.
Light skin, bald head.
It's a lot of light skins with bald head in the league. Not Robert Sacre.
Yes.
Oh, Robert Sacre. Okay, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So, and they were good.
Right.
They were really good. Billy went crazy that game. I think he had 32 points or something, and we ended up winning. And that win just kind of catapulted us into a whole different
confidence.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the city of San Diego all of a sudden was fully behind us. Every game was sold out. You had a camp outside for tickets. They called it Fisherville, where people were, tents were up 2 days before the game to try to get tickets. Like it was a whole thing. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
That's awesome. And how'd you guys finish that year out?
So we won league. I think we went into the conference tournament. I don't know, maybe like 28-2 or something. Only 2 losses during, before March Madness was to BYU. We lost to them twice in conference.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the whole Jimmer Fredette,
Oh, there's a Jimmer. Oh.
Yes.
Oh my God. We'll talk about that later. Okay.
They got us twice, but they ended up losing twice. So we were co-league champs, and then we beat them in the championship to win the conference tournament.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And just to kind of share like where our heads was at after that. So we won the conference tournament. Everybody cuts their net and you get your piece of the net. Half the team just forgot it. Like to us, it was just we did what we were supposed to do. Like it wasn't that we were so focused on the next winning in for March Madness, and that's when we made our Sweet 16 run. Sweet 16 run, and we lost to UConn, who won the championship with Kimball Walker in the Sweet 16, and that was a ride. That was it.
Man, that's awesome. So, what was it like playing in the tournament?
Oh, there's nothing like it. Because you don't really have that, to find that winner go home at that kind of level. You don't really get that kind of feel in high school, because for a lot of guys, especially the better guys, are like, I know there's something next.
Yeah.
Right. And in college, you don't really know if there's something next if you lose, right? Especially if you're a senior. Like, not everybody's going to the NBA. Not everybody's guaranteed a international contract. Like, so, things are just so, intense. And, but to go out there and battle with guys that, I came in with as freshmen and, my best friends, it was a great ride. It was good. It was good. I tell people all the time, like, our college, our 4 years of college, like, it could definitely be a movie for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, like, it ignited San Diego State to be, to me, they always talk about the blue bloods. Man, to me, San Diego State is like right there, man. I guess for a West Coast kid, it just feels like they're like, if UCLA offers you go there, then go to San Diego State. Like that's how I just feel. It's just,
right.
And it's the legacy, right, that Coach Fisher built.
Yeah.
And the assistant is
Coach Dutch.
He's the head coach now, like who's been there, and so it's like continuing that legacy.
Right.
And the facilities and the way they treat their players, you can just see that it's a culture. Feels like the San Antonio Spurs of college is what it feels like. You know,
San Diego State's a place where you look at them and as a prospective scholar athlete, like exactly what you're going to get. There's no behind the scenes. There's none of that going on. Like what you see, that's actually what it is.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. And in today's day and age, you don't really feel very often.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right. So Sweet 16 run. You're the point guard of this team, so I'm sure you have some pro opportunities upon graduating. What'd you get your degree in, by the way?
I was women's studies and minor in Soch.
Nice. So what motivated that? That's unique.
Yes, it's always a good conversation starter, isn't it? No, so I was as I was going through college, I really didn't know what I wanted to fall back on or what I truly wanted to do. And honestly, that was the class, it's going to sound terrible saying it, but that was the class that I found myself paying the most attention in. I found myself, like, no matter what was being taught or discussed, like, I was just locked in. I was locked into the conversation. And I think, what it was about it was a lot of it was like opinion-based, thoughts, discussions. It was, and for me, it was sitting back and listening and understanding just a different viewpoint. Like, why is it that you do feel this way? When something is said like this, why does it trigger you this way? And for me, it was, gaining an understanding of just society and how it all works and the power of language and the impact, the smallest things, can make for somebody. So I just gravitated towards it. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but
right.
It just, once again, just felt right,
That's interesting. That's dope. That's dope. Sociology major myself too. So absolutely. Mine's Pan-African Studies. Okay. And so with a focus in that. And so easiest way to get graduated. That's for me. That's what happened. Was like, I can just take these classes about black people and be done. I'm with it. And so all right. So cool. So on to being a pro.
Being a pro.
What happened? Were you able to NBA workouts, or what was your transition?
Came out was the lockout.
Oh,
it was a
man.
lockout. So I don't think basketball started until either the new year or late December or something like that. So I had a couple like workouts, and in that moment in time I was frustrated, right? Like, what do you mean I don't get a real opportunity, But like now looking back at it, you telling me that I have to guard Westbrook and Steph Curry, and like, all right, DJ, you know what I mean? Like, there's a whole different level to it, So I played overseas, and I experienced the pros and cons of overseas. And in my first gig, I landed in Slovenia, and played in like the third toughest league. It's called the Adriatic League, which is a mixture of Euro League teams, Euro Cup, Euro Challenges teams, all just melted together on the east side of Europe. And so I got a chance to compete in that, and I just so happened to get on the team with probably, they say, the toughest coach in all of Europe.
Really?
All of Europe. And
Coach Carter?
Worse. 10 times worse. 10 times worse. I went over to Europe probably at a 180, 185. I came back at 147. 147.
You lost 40 pounds? From running?
Practice 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day. You only get Sunday off. And before a season started, so you're doing that 6 days. 6 hours a day. 6 days a week.
Please tell me you was getting paid.
No.
Not enough?
No, because remember, it was a lockout, right? So everybody's money, because everybody's trying to go after the NBA players, so it affected everybody. So I didn't sign this big contract or anything like that.
Man, that's 6 hours a day.
6 hours a day.
You're malnutritioned.
Oh, 1,000%. And nobody was telling me how to take care of my body or, and the food is different.
Did your bounce, you had more bounce after that?
I didn't even dare jump into the fear of like my knees snapping off. Like after 6 hours, the last thing I want to do is jump.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. And so that you were there for 1 year. I hope.
For 1 year.
Okay.
Yeah, I was there for 1 year. And then I went to Italy. I played in Italy.
There we go. Okay, a little better.
No, it was the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite in the sense where, I mean, we weren't practicing like that, but coach wasn't as good as my first year's coach. But it was more like just a laid back.
Did you guys win at the Adriatic League?
We didn't win the Adriatic. I think we probably came in like top 7 or something, but it was like 15 teams or something.
But you practicing that much, you better win something. That's how I feel. Wow.
Right. And I was,
So your experience in Italy much improved.
It was just different. It wasn't as competitive.
Okay.
There we were playing once a week. In Slovenia, we were playing twice a week.
Okay.
So it was just a different experience.
Y'all practice 6 hours a day to have one game in Slovenia?
No, we played 2 games.
Oh, you played 2 in Slovenia, 1 in Italy.
1 in Italy.
Oh, okay. I thought backwards. Still, that is.
3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the evening.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Man. All right. So Italy the second year.
That was fun. It was an experience,
Right.
And then that following year, I went to Ukraine. War broke out in Ukraine. Then I went home. Once all that stuff went down, and then I was, at the crossroads of, all right, DJ, do you want to continue playing? And if I continue playing, then I'm just playing till the wheels fall off, or do I want to cut it short and start life out here? So. While my big thing was, while my name was still kind of relevant in San Diego, to use that, because I know if I were to play 10 years and come back to San Diego, it'd be so much harder.
Yeah. No, you built a personal brand for yourself.
Yes.
And like you said, you capitalized on it when, you striked when the iron was still hot. Yeah. And I think that's important for these kids to understand, is that a lot of this has to do with that. In college, if you're declaring for the NBA draft, or even in middle school, and understanding how to leverage your position, because in this game, you do become a commodity in a way. Mm-hmm. Like, people are going to use you for your skills to get what they want, which is wins. And so you have to do it on the other end, is to use your name and your brand and what you've built for yourself to leverage your position to be the most successful, to get what you need from it. And so
absolutely,
you took the route to use that brand and to hop into something, and the best city in the country, San Diego.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
And yeah, so what'd you get into?
So I started training when I was training. I'm sure you're familiar with Jordan Lawley.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Jordan, listen, man, stop being busy so we can come do this interview. I've been talking for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In between, so his kids got sick last week. My kids got sick this week. We're gonna get it going. So yeah, J Law.
Yeah, J Law, he's the best. So he was training me when I would come back from Europe, kind of in San Diego. I was working out with him.
Did you do crossovers on his shoes?
No.
It was after the shoes? Okay, cool. I just true Instagram and who people know about the shoes.
No, he wasn't doing that. Was not doing that. But he trained me, and then when I got done, him and I started a training program together.
Okay.
So we were both training a lot of kids, and the numbers just grew and grew and grew. And he was like, "Hey, DJ, I'm thinking about getting into the, social media and filming and video, and, this opportunity may come up in Orange County." And like, for me, I was looking, I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't know how you're doing this training thing and spending an hour with, each and every single kid. And some kids don't even want to be there. And, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think I could do it, But he definitely opened up a lane for me in San Diego when it came to training and helping me get on my feet. Something that I'll never forget, J Law. He went the training route, and I went and I started a club program in San Diego called the San Diego Bulldogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that was you.
Yeah.
No. There you go. Okay.
That was me.
That's dope. Okay. And so you start club.
Yeah.
And yeah, what happens next? So how long did you do that? When did you hop into high school coaching?
Yeah, so the funny thing is I never wanted to get into high school coaching. I never wanted to do it. My club program was doing good. We got it up to like 350 kids, boys and girls. What? We had over 30 teams. Like, it was rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rolling. And there was a family in San Diego that I was very close with, especially when I was playing. And their daughter played basketball, and they're like, "Hey, DJ, we don't really have the greatest of coaches. Like, would you just mind just like helping out?" It's like okay, like, all right. So my first coaching job was at the San Diego Jewish Academy, coaching girls varsity.
Wow.
That was my first high school coaching job.
Those are the best ones. Bulldogs. Those are the best ones.
Oh, for sure. It was so much fun. Coaching girls it's fun.
Where it seemed like you were good at coaching. You're good at business too if you're building a program. Kind of what were the staples that allowed you to build your club program so big?
For me, I hate using the words like, I just want to offer something a little different. For me, it was, I came to San Diego. I watched what youth basketball looked like, and there's a lot of kids that I was training. So I would go and watch them play, and I would just see things. And I'm like, well, that's not going to translate. Like, that's not going to help, And I just saw things that I personally just didn't agree with. I'm not going to say good or bad. Everybody's different, but just all things.
Man, real hoop. It wasn't real hoop, people. It wasn't real hoop.
So I saw a lot of things that I didn't agree with. So I was like, I'm just going to start my own thing, right? So what I did was I created an environment where if you came and played for me, what I guaranteed families were, if you come and play for me, I can promise you that your kid will have the IQ to play high school varsity basketball. That's all I'm going to promise you. Like, they're going to learn the game. They're going to be ready. They may not be the biggest, strongest. They may not be the most skilled, but from an IQ and an understanding of the game, I promise you that they'll be ready.
Yeah. And
that just kind of like caught fire. So like, we're out there, and I'm doing shell drill with my 9-year-olds and teaching them rotations and everybody's like, what is it? Like, what is this?
It's called basketball.
Right. So in our first season, we had 5 teams, and every season is 3 months. First season, 5 teams. Second season, 10 teams. Third season, 14 teams. By the end of the year, we were at 20 teams. And that was just year 1. And I was fortunate to hire great coaches and basketball minds and things like that. And I built it out to, every third grade team needs to know this. Every fourth grade team needs to know this. Every fifth grade team. So by the time they get to me in the 8th grade, 1, they're ready, and 2, like they have all the fundamentals. So I just did it like a coaching tree,
Yep, little curriculum.
Yep, exactly.
That's dope. That's dope. And how long did you have the Bulldogs program?
Until I took Windward.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you sold it?
I didn't.
Just let it go?
I didn't. That's a little gray area there, but.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. You live in LA now.
Yeah,
there we go.
LA now, yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, but it's still going.
It's still going. Okay,
still going.
Awesome. And then so you start at the Jewish Academy.
Yep.
Is what it's called, and then San Diego Jewish Academy. How was your first year as a head coach, winning wise on the court?
I think we were 500.
Okay,
I think
nice.
we were 500.
Solid start.
Yeah, they were not 500 the year before. I stayed there for 3 seasons, 3 years. And every year we got better and better and better. And it was fun, right? It wasn't a year-round program in off-season and summer. It wasn't anything like that.
What was the difference in coaching girls and boys?
What's the difference?
What was the difference for you?
Well,
was there a difference? There you go. Let me ask that.
Yes, coaching girls basketball, I really enjoy coaching girls basketball because it still exists, but girls, my own experience, girls play to achieve things as a team.
Yeah.
They want to win together. They don't really care if they score 20 or 2 or 0 or they naturally want to win together. Coaching boys, a lot of times there's a lot more agendas. Yeah. There's a lot more
pride.
More pride, more ego, and why does he get to shoot that? Why does so the girls was easier from a standpoint where it just came to strategy and because they were just like, coach, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. Yeah. Right. And with the boys is, well, why don't I get to do this?
Yeah.
So
So where'd you go on after that? So 3 years there?
3 years there. Then after that I was at Victory Christian, which is a private school in like the Chula Vista area of San Diego. I stayed there for 3 years. As well. Had some success there. And then that led me to La Jolla Country Day.
Yeah.
La Jolla Country Day.
That's one of the big boys down in San Diego.
One of the big boys down in San Diego, but not as big as their girls program.
Right. All right. So how long were you the coach there?
At La Jolla Country Day?
Yeah.
2 years.
2 years. Okay. And then what were you able to achieve in that position?
We made. We were decent my first year there, and then my second year there we made we lost in the NCIF championship.
To
Carlsbad.
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 Yeah, they're always good. They're number one team down there right now.
They're very, 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 very good. But we made a championship with a team that wasn't supposed to be in the championship.
Oh, you did it again.
We did it again.
Yes.
We did it again.
I'm sorry. You're the one who's part of all these teams that are overachieving, according to the media or whoever's watching. And I'm saying it not to pump DJ the man up. I'm pumping up who you are, the character, the work ethic that you just continuously just work. And you have this confidence that comes from that work. The running, what sticks out right now in this conversation, running hills. Like, hey, no, you all want to run this mountain with me?
Yeah.
That is what I'm like, yo, that's it. That's how you want to be a winner in this game.
Yep.
Go do this extra work. put your focus where it needs to be great, to never get cut from your 7-year-old all-star team again. Parents, be honest with your kids. Put them in positions where they have to go and strive and be uncomfortable. That's what makes champion mindsets. And you build things like, I know people who have had club teams for 10 years and didn't achieve 350 kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're a natural born builder and whatever that is, or I don't want to say natural born. You're born a certain way, but you put the work in to match it to reach your full potential. Like, you're reaching your full potential with this. And so that's why I'm highlighting. I know it's always a us when we talk about team, but I'm talking about that character in you. And so, because I think kids can achieve that because it's a decision.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a decision to go and do that, to just work.
Yeah,
So.
I tell people all the time, like, you look at me like I'm not your typical Division I basketball player. I'm not a pro body type. I don't jump high. I don't run fast. I'm not fancy. I'm not flashy. Like,
Just play basketball.
Yeah.
I love it, man. So you have everything going in San Diego. Beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
You're married at this time.
Yeah.
How many years married before you came to Windward?
How many years married?
Yeah, right now, how many years have you been married? 5. And so 3 years into your marriage when you moved to LA.
Yes.
So you're married 3 years, beautiful kids. Are kids on the way? At that time, you had one.
My son is 5 and my daughter's 3.
Got it. All right. So there you go. So you have a club program that's thriving, and you just get up and move to LA.
COVID also hit.
There we go. Okay. No, what's the catalyst? All right. So COVID hit.
COVID hit. Program went from 350 kids to I think 50.
Whoa.
Yeah, 350 to 50. And I'm sure, as you know, once that whole COVID play, not play, and that whole gray area thing, I saw what youth basketball was once again evolving to. And at that point, I was like, I don't think I want to rebuild it. I don't want to rebuild it to what it's now once again changing into.
Yep.
So I kind of took my foot off the gas pedal with that. It was still going. Pre-COVID, we were very, very like competitive and all age groups. And then COVID, if you weren't playing, all your top guys were going to different programs that were playing.
Yeah.
And for me, at that point, I think I was 8 years in maybe, and I was just like, I'm not gonna go chase these kids to come back, or So the program I was like, whoever wants to be here, great, and it is what it is, and I'm still at La Jolla Country Day and kind of going through that, and then me leaving San Diego to LA was one of the toughest decisions that I've ever made. Was in San Diego since 2007, as a freshman, and that was now home for me, for us, and I just felt like I got to a point in San Diego where I felt like I stopped growing, and I was like, okay, well, I'm at La Jolla Country Day. It's a great school, great basketball, and I have my club program. I'm just kind of like, well, where do I grow into? Like, what's next? What's next? What's next? And I always felt like I'm a pretty good coach. Like I'm pretty good at what I do. Like, at least I think so. And it's like, but if an opportunity comes up where I can really challenge myself, I said, I think I want to take it.
Yeah.
And I got the phone call that the Windward job opened up. And when I first got the call, I was like, Windward. I was like, well, is that like a JUCO? Is that like a small college, a D3? Like what is it?
Yeah.
I had never heard of Windward, right? I'm from the Valley. Like, we didn't hear about Windward in the Valley. So, I did my research, and I was like, oh, okay. Crossroads, and I see that Sierra Canyon was in the league, and they have some history there, and this is kind of like where they be guys that they could potentially play against. And I said, so just said to myself, like, this would be the perfect spot for me to see if this is something I can actually do. San Diego basketball is good. LA basketball is a whole different animal.
Yeah.
In so many different aspects. So took the leap of faith and, landed at Windward and here we go.
You're in it. You're learning today, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So your first year, how did you guys end your first year last year?
We lost in the quarterfinals on a buzzer beater.
Oof.
Yes.
Rebay. No.
Culver City.
Yes. Culver City. Oh, that's right. Yes. Man.
Yes.
Man. Okay. So that first year coming in. So what's different about coaching in LA at a private school, the level of Windward?
Compared to?
San Diego.
Well, LA and San Diego basketball are just different across the board.
Okay.
And I want to think of the most political way of saying.
That's why I asked you.
I don't want to rub people the wrong way, but in San Diego, there's not as much talent, right?
Yeah.
Most teams are built the same exact way, so you have to have a level of strategy, coaching on the fly, like you because everybody's the same. Everybody's the same in San Diego. In LA, you got some monsters out here. So it's easy to in LA just say just go, right?
Yeah.
Just leashes are off, just go. And in San Diego, it's like there's a set every play. There's slips, there's flares. It's like there's so much action.
Yeah.
Which, as a coach, one makes you a better coach because you always have to be engaged. First thing I realized in LA, like I'm, coaching in the spring, my first spring, in the fall, my first fall coaching, the Windward guys, and I'm looking around, I'm like, man, they're not running anything. Like this is kind of feels like AAU, they're just getting up and down. Like, okay, where's the action? Where's the, and there wasn't a lot of it. And I was like, oh, okay, maybe everybody's just waiting until actual season starts. And then you get to actual season and it's like, where's the action? Like, where's the slips? Where's the reads? And I'm just sitting there and I'm waiting for it. And like, it didn't come. Like, I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, the difference, you have to really be on your A game in San Diego or else you'll literally just get out coached. Everybody's the same. In LA, you have a dude, you got a couple of monsters on your team. It just seems like just let them go and be them.
Yeah.
So that I would say, maybe you pick up between the lines there, but that's what I would say the difference.
No, it's different. It's different. That's interesting. I've never seen it that way, but now that I'm thinking about watching San Diego teams versus LA teams, that's definitely where it's at. And it's even a constant conversation with me and one of the guys I work with, Brandon, like we're always talking about like coaching basketball, like the IQ of the game and how we lack it in LA when we watch high schools play, and even our kids in core, like that's what we're teaching now is like, man, they need to know these things before they get to high school. And so where we develop our skill set is crazy. Like we got the footwork, we got the moves, we got
all the moves in the world out here.
All that.
All the moves in the world out here.
All that. And so being able to apply it to the game within real basketball, or I would say fundamental basketball.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. So thank you for that. So now you're in year 2. You got to adjust to LA. You guys are on the verge of making the open division. By the time this podcast come out, playoffs will be over actually.
Okay.
And so what have you done different from year 1 to year 2 to accelerate and to be on this level where you're being considered for open division team?
There's nothing different. It's what we build upon. So coaching in San Diego, that style of coaching, then coming to LA and having a team that, is athletically gifted, has some real talent, has some athletes, my style of coaching from San Diego does not apply to them day one. Like what do you mean you want me to go set a back screen? I can just beat my guy right now. Like, it's just, I can just take him. I can just go, right?
Yeah.
And, my first thing with the team that I had my first year, I said, look, I just want you. I want to teach you guys how to win. I just want to teach you guys how to win. And what that means is understanding how to really use the shot clock, how to use, time management, how to play the 5-minute game, how to play the 2-minute game, how to play the 1-minute game, how to play the 30. So we spent so much time just on time management. We're still not even close to where we should be on understanding it, but we have gotten so much better with just understanding just game flow. And I was like, my year one, that's all I want to focus on with you guys is just understanding game flow, when to go, when not to go, when to use the clock, when to shoot in the first 7 seconds, and just building IQ. Right, so that was it for just year one. And as we got to year two, it was okay. We're doing a better job understanding the clock, understanding time management. It's like, okay, well, now let's start understanding reads. Like, now this year we're just going to focus strictly on reads, when to slip, how to use a flare, when to curl, when to backdoor. Like, that's my one and only focus. Like this year, that's what we're, can we execute a set? Mm-hmm. And their argument is like, coach, like, before you got here, like, we were just running up and down and like just playing fast, and like that's our strength. And I said, okay, well, how did that work against Sierra Canyon? How do you think that works against Harbor Westlake? How do you think that will work against Bosco? Right? Like, I understand, like, if you're playing somebody to your level or a little bit below, I see how that can work, but I don't want to just beat those teams. No. We want to be a great team.
That's how you get out coached.
Yeah.
So you get out coached.
And to be a great team, if you don't know how to execute, at that level you don't stand a chance, because we're not made up how they're made up. Right. If we were built the same, I'd be a whole lot more lenient. But if we want a chance at winning, like, we have to do something a little different. Yeah. And like, just getting them to buy into that, and the teamwork, and I always use it, from Coach Fish is, when we win, everybody's boat rises, right? Everybody's so thirsty and hungry to get an offer so they can post it on social media. And I tell them, well, if you're in a losing program, they don't care. Right. But now, like, if you show that you know how to win and you know how to play, and, now all of a sudden we got coaches in the gym. Now coaches are calling. Now everybody's recruitment is picking up. And like, once that started happening, everybody was like, oh. And now what we're seeing now is a team that has fully bought into what it means to be a team and to sacrifice. Yeah. Win or lose, whenever this, when this podcast comes out, no matter what happens, tomorrow or after playoffs, like, we are not 23-3 currently without the buy-in of the players. Right.
No, and you can see it in how you guys play. Like, they are playing for one another, and they're trying to make the right read. That's what it is. It's like, you can see the growth definitely from last year to this year of them trying to play high IQ basketball, and it's against every fiber in their body to do it. Yes. But they're doing it, and they're effective, and you guys are winning. Yes. And so good luck on the rest of the season. I can't wait to see what you guys do. And you got some guys coming back right next year, and so you'll be able to see the next layer of what you're adding to it. And congratulations on your success so far, and for what you're going to do for the program, man. So thank you for sharing that. We're going to hop into our next segment. Okay. All right. It's called My Rushmore. All right. Your top four. So you played against some people. Your top four players that you've played against. We'll do high school and then college.
Okay.
High school first.
High school, I have to go Drew Holiday. He was the only player I could just, no matter what I did, I couldn't get around him. Just could not get around him. Drew Holiday, DeMar DeRozan, James Harden.
Dang. It's 3 All-Stars. Right.
And I'll probably give the last spot to. Oh man, that's tough. No.
Larry Drew.
I was gonna say Larry Drew was something because he could just kill you without having to score the ball.
Man.
He could just kill you without.
And that first step was dumb.
Yeah, we had some really good battles too.
Yeah.
I'll go Larry Drew.
Nice.
Larry Drew.
Man, that's solid.
Yeah.
That's a solid group.
Yeah.
Just for high school.
Yeah.
College,
I have to go Kemba. I have to go. That was just different level.
Did you know Kemba was a break dancer before he played basketball?
No, but it makes a lot of sense.
Right? Yeah, crazy. He was a dancer more than he was a basketball player until he was 16.
Wow.
There you go.
College, Kemba, you have to throw Fredette in there just off the simple things he was able to do.
Man, what was it like playing him? I have to ask, what do you do?
We didn't figure it out until the third time we played him. It's like the first time I said, all right, DJ, you got him. I'm like, okay, well, he's shooting at the volleyball line. Like, I can't block.
Right.
I'm like, I'm not going to block this shot.
Right.
So it's like, okay, the second time we're like, oh, we're going to throw somebody else. Like, and then that didn't work. And then the third time we played him, we put Billy and Kawhi on him. Length. And then we ended up winning that game by like 20 points. But our first two, we tried to go guard for guard. And then I was like, nah.
That ain't gonna work.
That's not gonna work.
So you got Kemba, Jimmer.
Jared Bayless was cold.
Ooh.
Jared Bayless was cold. And then I would go the last one. Oh man, the last one was.
Somebody at Tennessee,
No.
or I got Kemba. Anybody else on UConn?
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys, but people like the Killers, those are like my. Jordan Hill was tough too.
Yeah.
Like we had no answer for Jordan Hill. Like there was, it was an automatic bucket.
Man,
Yeah. I'm sure I'm forgetting, but like. I'm thinking of the guys who just killed us.
Yeah, there you go. No, those are the ones that stick out. Those are the ones you remember for sure.
Yeah.
For me, high school, toughest dudes. Anthony Goods at the time, who ended up going to Stanford playing overseas. Run Swish Coaters now, him and Jordan. He's a tough guard. Darren Collinson. He was a freshman when I was a junior and gave me I was the defender.
Yeah.
Gave me 25. My last game in California, I moved to Kansas. That was it. And then in Kansas though, I had to guard some dudes that, you know what? I kind of locked everybody up in Kansas. Yeah, I said it. Yeah. I kind of had my way in Kansas. I'm trying to think of anybody who gave me buckets like that. And then I'm trying to think. Now go back to out here, high school. Man, what was that kid's name? I keep forgetting this kid's name, but he lit us up. He went to Temecula Valley, pulling up from the volleyball line. He was a freshman when I was a junior as well. Man, if I can remember this kid's name. He ended up going to like Portland State or something. I'm gonna look this kid up because I'm gonna find him. But there's this one kid, unknown name kid from Temecula Valley.
Okay.
And then I think that's four, right? Darren, Anthony, unknown name.
One more.
Man. Oh, Aaron Afalo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Aaron Afalo.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sure.
Aaron Afalo. We played, oh my gosh, he gave us like 38.
One of the prettiest shots I've ever seen.
Man, he was so smooth in high school. So it was just like, what can you do with this, man? Yeah. And then college was short-lived for me. And so, Mine would be the pros, playing against pros. So
Yeah.
Darius Garland.
Yep.
Yeah, Jordan Clarkson. Just can't guard those dudes.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson. We're playing 1-on-3, and he beat us. Yeah, that man he got handles like he could hoop. Like NBA players are just different.
They're different.
Yeah, and then Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
Is strong and just crazy. So, yeah, man. Good times. All right. I got buckets got put on me by NBA All-Stars. So,
go.
Whatever. All right. So, this is called Fix the Net. So, a misconception about you that you want to make straight and clear it up, clear the air, or just a misconception about basketball in general. So, tell us that misconception and then the truth, and then fix the net for us.
The misconception, I'm going to go about just basketball, that I think players and families need to know is that you do not need to average 20 points to get a scholarship. You do not need to be the number one scorer on your team, and understand that everybody is looking for a fit at the next level. So sometimes it's not a question on if you're good enough or not. It's, do you fit what we're trying to build? And I think that's where a lot of people get lost. Yeah. Especially when they have the kids. Well, how did he get this? How did he get this offer? Like, I gave him 25. Like, I clamped him. Like, yeah, he's also averaging a double-double. He's also he's also 6'8". Right? He's also, like there's just some things that are just out of your control. Yeah. So my best advice is, when it comes to my question is, what do you do great? And if you're doing it great, find a way to master it, because there's going to be somebody in this country that needs somebody that can do that. Yeah. So.
Love that, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing the net.
Yep. So I just
to get a bucket.
Yep.
That's the bucket.
Easy money.
Yes, sir. Awesome. All right. And so this is where we flip the script. 2 questions for me. You're the interviewer, and 2 questions for me.
Outside looking in. No, I guess just for you, as a businessman, entrepreneur, coach, trainer, with all the different names that you may have. Outside of family, what does success look like to you?
Man, I have a whole sheet of paper that I listen to every day, what success looks like in multiple areas of my life, and actually have what success looks like, what it smells like, what it feels like. And because I think there's multiple layers to success. One is my spiritual life, just to make sure that I am communing with God every single day, every single moment, in constant prayer and connection to Him. So, because His kind of love is different than everyone else's. And so if I can feel His love and I can spread His love, I think people will be impacted for the better, no matter what. And so that's spiritual success, just to love people just as good as Jesus did, even though it's impossible, right, to strive for that. And then, you said outside of my career, or
outside
inside?
Of family.
Outside of family, but everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I just love impacting people. I want everyone to reach their full potential. And so for me, is to strive for that and give people the tools they need to strive to be the best version of themselves. And so, and that goes, I think that goes for any realm of life. And so to impact people the way where you're impacting millions of people, but us having this podcast, I hope it inspires you to do something better for somebody else. And so that's what success looks like, inspiring and impacting other people to be the best version of themselves. And that in turn will do that for you. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Question number 2. Put you on the spot here. Who is going to win the Open Championship?
Okay, so this is going to come out after. So at this point, Southern Section, right?
Yeah, Southern Section. Who's going to win the Southern Section Open Division?
Harvard Westlake is going to win it. Harvard Westlake has won the Open Championship by the time this has come out. It's what you talked about. They built upon, those kids have been there for 4 years, the seniors. They have a very, like a system and a camaraderie that builds. And the 2 L's they took last week are going to wake them up, like it has. The last 2 games, they're smacking their opponents now. And my belief in Coach Ribebo's approach to adjustments and the IQ of his players, I think they're gonna repeat.
Okay.
Well, they did stay. They didn't get it yet, so they're gonna get. I think they're gonna get the Southern section. Okay. Sierra Canyon's impressive, though. Sierra Canyon has been impressive. And so if anybody, if Harvard Westlake doesn't, then I'm gonna give it to Sierra Canyon, especially with their drop off in talent now. But they have the same thing. Yeah. They have guys who have been there and understand Dre's system at this point. And so I think that goes a long way in Southern California. Okay. Yeah. But it's gonna be tough. I'm not. You got Notre Dame, you got Bosco, like you got Corona Centennial, you got you guys. Like it's gonna be fun. It is. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But hey, I ain't afraid to answer the question. I said at the beginning of the year, I think Harvard Westlake's gonna get it though. So, okay. Yep. Awesome. Yep. Man, are you kind of ruined the next part? No, just playing. Are you good? No. All right, so man, you got a 24-second shot clock. Please let the people know where they can find you on social media and just a message that you have for them, either about Windward basketball or just some great advice in general.
24-second shot clock. I'm not very big on social media, but if you want to find me on Twitter, it's DJSCSU23. And then for everybody who is striving to reach their full potential or to play at the next level, don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't, but just make sure your work ethic and your determination matches your goal.
Man, my brother.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. That's all we got for today, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.